Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. So this is going to be a follow-up review on the Yesoul S3 smart spinning bike. If you haven't already, please watch my initial unboxing and assembly somewhere up here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and score this bike on 5 different categories. We're looking at design, features, build quality, ride feel, and noise level. So stay tuned for all of those, and then also give you a sound sample near the end of the video as well. And then I'll follow up with a total score at the end of the video. All right, so starting off with the design of this bike, I mean, let's be honest, you guys, this is one sleek looking bike. It's probably one of the best looking bikes at under $1,000, honestly. So starting off the bat, I love all of the hydroforming that went into this bike. It's not just some basic round tubing or even square tubing. It's really hydroformed, and they really paid attention to every type of style of piping here on this bike. Everything's kind of curvy and curvaceous. You got all this black kind of eggshell type of texture. You got the Yesoul and the white, all of the red accents. It looks really, really high quality. And then you also have this kind of gunmetal translucent plastic up here in the resistance and sensor area. And then the belt cover here just looks really, really well thought out. You can tell they really did their homework on design. And honestly, they mimic the Peloton, but it is what it is. It looks awesome, that's for sure. So design, I give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, honestly, you really can't fault it for its looks. It's generally well accepted throughout, like a general consensus, and it's really kind of an accent piece to your home. Like once you throw this in your living room or in your bedroom or office, it really complements your entire house, honestly. So yeah, the design, 10 out of 10, perfect score. All right, so the features, this is another category where this bike really excels. I mean, you have the adjustable tablet holder up on the handlebars. You have magnetic resistance that's manually controlled, which is really nice as well. It's going to be universal across pretty much all platforms. You have Bluetooth connectivity on this bike, so you can connect to Zwift and things like that. It'll sense your cadence, RPMs, and then also your power and wattage, which is really, really impressive at around $500. That's really not a feature that a lot of bikes have. You have a very large chain wheel, so you do get a high RPM. Now the flywheel weight of this, I believe I might have gotten incorrect in my initial video. It's a little bit lighter, but overall you get a great sense of inertia because of that high ratio. So looking at the actual chain wheel itself, you can see just how massive this thing is. So that translates into the flywheel spinning at a much higher rate than what you're turning in the pedals. So that translates into a great sense of inertia. You do get 4-way adjustability in the saddle, but only 2-way adjustability in the handlebars. But again, because it is diagonal, the higher up you go, the further forward it goes too. So you can really find a happy medium based on that type of adjustment. So if you're a smaller person, you're technically shorter, you have shorter arms. So as you bring this down, it goes down and the bars come closer to you. So kind of makes sense. If you're larger, you want to bring them up and then forward. And that's exactly what happens as you raise up the handlebars. Really great design there. You do get one bottle cage. It is a really nice plastic bottle cage. It's very flexible, so if you have any larger type of bottles. At this price point, I really wish there was dual bottle cages, say right here in the fork blades, maybe here on the tube on the top. Just something where you can easily access your hydration versus coming down here between your legs and trying to fidget with this, but it's there if you need it. Now this does feature 4 adjustment points on the stabilizer bars to level out the bike and take out any type of rocking. So you can really, really level out this bike nice and easy. Transport wheels up at the front. Not the greatest, kind of on the cheap side, but they're there. Turnstile knobs are really great too. It's easy to get a nice tight fit, take out any play, especially up here with the kind of ratcheting system here on the bars. They're very solid. And I actually prefer seeing this back here, but I mean, this knob works just as well. It's a little plastic feeling, but it still works perfectly fine. I do wish there was a little bit of a brace here up on the top because the saddle does rock a little bit as you're putting the power down, but it's not really too big of a deal. So in the features category, I actually gave this a perfect score of 10 out of 10. It's just got so many things going for it that not a whole lot of bikes in this price range or even above it have, right? It's got just so many things going for it, and really you can't find this amount of features in the $500 range. So that's why I gave it a perfect score. All right, so the build quality is very good. I will have to criticize a couple things. So starting off with the entire seat post area, you can see that there's no bracing point here. So this entire seat post is only connected at the very bottom down in this area, down here at the bottom of the frame. So all of this up here, it's got a little bit of bracing here around the chain guard or the belt guard. Other than that, you're not having any type of bracing. It could use one more brace right here, and I think that would solve the issues, but I do experience the saddle rocking a little bit, if I'm being perfectly honest. Design, I do wish they could incorporate some type of fore and aft adjustment in the bar, so you're really not compromising in any way. You get a perfect fit. So the resistance knob, which is very, very nice, it works perfectly fine. I just think it's in the wrong position and at the wrong angle. So for most people, you're gonna find this knob to be on the low side of things, and then also the angle is kind of weird as well. I didn't really figure that out until putting some time in with this bike, but I really noticed comparing it to a lot of my other spin bikes in the background here, that this is quite a bit lower than all the rest. Looking at my bikes right now, most of them are just a little bit under the saddle height, which is right here. So most of the knobs end up in this location. This one is about 5 inches below that. And then the angle again is kind of awkward to use. So keep that in mind that this is gonna be a little bit more of a reach. So just keep that in mind that this is going to be a little bit low of a reach for most people, especially if you're taller and you might have shorter arms. That's going to be quite the reach for you. Other than that, you get really nice welds. All of the contact points and everything connected together is fitted very well. So I gave the build quality a pretty high score of 8 out of 10. So the ride feel on this bike, it's good. It's good. I'm going to say that right now. It's good. It's not perfect. It's not great. I'm going to say it's good. And I'm going to tell you why right now. Starting off with the flywheel, it's a little bit on the light side. As you can see here, this shell is actually plastic. You do get perimeter weighting, but it's still fairly light. So the crank arms are actually the shortest I've ever had on any type of spin bike that I've either owned or even ridden. They might be in the 165 millimeter range, maybe even 160 millimeters if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna go ahead and measure that and try to find some actual measurements online, and I'll put that somewhere here on the screen for you guys, but keep that in mind that these are really, really short crank arms. So if you're someone with really long legs or really long inseam, you're gonna find this very, very awkward to ride because of those short crank arms. So keep that in mind. If you're shorter, you're really not gonna have that much of a deal with this. You're not really gonna notice it, but if you're taller, it's definitely gonna be something that's gonna be a little bit of an awkward experience for you. But other than that, the Q factor is perfectly acceptable. It's something like this. So the ride feel, I gave a pretty decent score of 8 out of 10. Again, if you're taller, that's gonna drop down to more like a 5 out of 10 because of the crank arm issue. But other than that, I really haven't had any problems. The bike is virtually silent, smooth. The resistance works perfectly well. Even putting down the power and standing up and cranking, there really isn't any rocking or anything like that. The adjustment knobs on the bottom stabilizer bars work fine. You can take out any type of rocking, and it's honestly a great feeling spin. And then going into the noise level, again, it's basically silent. It's probably one of the more quiet bikes that I've had the experience of riding. So I gave that a perfect 10 out of 10. So you can see as I spin this, I can't even hear it being this close to the bike. You might hear a little bit of clicking sound. That's just the strap on the other side hitting the ground. It's honestly silent experience. All right, so that brings me to the final score of this bike. So it got a score of 4.6 stars out of 5, which is really, really good. At this price range, the features alone make this bike a really, really awesome buy. The tablet holder, the Bluetooth connectivity, you can pair it with Zwift and RGT and TrainerRoad and things like that. So if you're someone that likes those virtual type of rides, this is definitely a bike to look at. I don't believe the cadence pairs with Peloton, but you can easily pick up a cadence sensor to mount onto the crank arm. And they're like, I don't know, something in the range of like $30 or something like that. Pretty cheap and easy to install. I'll go ahead and link a Garmin and a Wahoo component in the description below for you guys to check out. So yeah, with the total score of 4.6 stars out of 5, it's definitely a very good buy at around 500 bucks, and definitely something I would keep in mind. For the taller crowd, I would say look elsewhere because of the short crank arms. So if you purchase this bike and you're having some issues with the setup, go ahead and check out my first video, which I will link up here, which I go into detail of how to assemble this bike and set it up. But that's going to sum up my video for today. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment as usual, subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys in the next video.